welcome to the Red Devils Africa. Welcome to the channel on this Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon with some rather gloomy weather. Gloomy weather here in Joburg, but I don't really mind gloomy weather. I'm weird like that, so I'm cool with it. But yeah, it's Friday. We all love Friday. If you play fantasy, deadlines today. Please don't forget. Please don't follow in my footsteps. I make that mistake pretty much every week, and it's the worst. There's nothing worse than taking an L on fantasy. Not because, your team just sucks, but because you forgot to make changes. So yeah, just, friendly reminder from your friend Retha. The deadline's today. But let's move on from that. I just felt like I had to say that, Felt like I had to be a responsible fantasy player. But yeah, welcome to the channel. We're here with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. Press conference reaction to the Manchester Derby. The big one. Okay, not really the big one. We won't talk about the big one because the big one was a yikes for us. But I guess this is the second best. And exciting. I know it's difficult at the moment being a Manchester United fan because not always going well, We started the season thinking maybe title challenge, Ronaldo coming in, Sancho, the run. So we thought that, no, this is finally the year, finally the year we get back to the top. And yeah, it's just been a slap in the face. It's been nothing like that. But, what's the point if you can't get excited for these type of games? These are the games, Manchester City, I guess the big one, Liverpool, as much as I don't want to talk about it. Those are the games we need to get excited for, because if we don't, what's the point, Might as well just pack it in right now, not support the club anymore. And because if we don't, it will just get too toxic, It's already toxic enough, but we just have to remember that it's all about the football. That's why we're here. So we have to try and enjoy the football as much as possible and analyze it as best as we can, even though if you're Ole in, Ole out, it's all about the football, and more so it's about the players who they can't really get lost in these type of things because they're playing the game, So we need to try our best to be like that as well. But yeah, press conference, the usual. It was pretty shite. It was pretty shite. But I'm gonna try my best not to rant about that because I feel like every week I'm talking about how shite the press conferences are, and it is what it is. So yeah, without any further ado, we shall get into the quotes. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was first asked about his record against Pep Guardiola, about how he's been pretty successful against Pep in the league ever since arriving to the Premier League. And Ole would say, no, you look at the next game. So basically he was asked, just to make it clear, he was asked how much effect knowing that you've done well in these games, how much does it affect this game? And how does that go into his preparation? And he basically said, no, you look at the next game. I'm not one to talk about what I've done. I've got great respect and admiration for Pep and what he's done. We've had good results and tight games. We need another performance like this. Sometimes we need luck. We know this game we have to suffer a lot, but we have to believe, trust ourselves because we're at home and we've had a couple of good results. So basically, the couple of good results is referring to the past few games we've had, the thumping of Tottenham. And yeah, it's basically saying we need to believe in ourselves, basically saying that you can't think about the past, you need to go forward, take it one game at a time. All the right things. Ole says the right things, even though it's hard to take him seriously because it just seems like, just all cheesy, all candy and rainbows, it's always happy, always smiling. So you kind of feel like sometimes there's no substance to what he's saying. But he's saying the right things, We have to take it one game at a time, and we have to believe in ourselves in this game because no matter what our form is, it's the derby, Form, as they say, goes out the window. Not really, but we like to say that and we like to believe that. And the fans do make a difference, in these type of games. So we have to believe that, we have to be up for it, and we need to try and get the 3 points because it's a yikes for us in the league right now. Not just even title anymore. I mean, Antonio Conte's gone to Tottenham, and that worries me. That worries me for fourth spot, I won't lie. So we need to be as close as possible. We need to be in the top 4 as soon as possible. We can't be languishing outside the top 4. So we need to win this game. And we're at home. That's the point. That's what I want to talk about the most. When he says we're at home. And that is true. We'll have the fans, and that will help. But Ole, you say we're at home, but we never really play like a team that's confident about being at home. We never really do. Ole is very defensive, Ole is reserved, don't always start really well. So what I want to see, which he never changes things. He's very stubborn about his tactics, no matter what happens. But, we're going to analyze it nevertheless. What I want to see is us just be more positive at home, just be more dominant. I know maybe that's not the way to go against Man City. Maybe playing on the counter is the logical way to go. But screw that, screw that, I'm sick of looking inferior in terms of the football we play, So if there's any chance of most of us Ole Gunnar changing our minds about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think one of the first few things that need to happen is that we need to play more front foot attacking, dominant football, especially at home, And that is one thing I would like to see, even against Man City. And if we win doing that, you know, I'm Ole out, but you'd be like, no, hats off, Ole, You did, even if the football isn't amazing, you're not going to change it overnight, But if I see us moving in the positive direction, I might not say, I won't say Ole in, and I won't say, we're going forward now, but I will say, progress, and it's a step forward. So yeah, that was the first question. And then he was asked about the pressure put on him since the Liverpool game, took a 5-0 thumping, and how much pressure that has put on him as a manager. And he said, when I stepped in the doors here in December 2018, 3 years ago, it's already been 3 years, wow. There's been speculation ever since. That's no problem. We've moved on from the Liverpool game. It's a dark moment in our careers. We've had a good 2 weeks. You don't expect an easy ride when you become Manchester United manager. That's how it is. And he's right, once again. He's the right thing. It's a tough job. It's probably the toughest job in the world, The scrutiny from day one, as he says, it's just here, And there's no way around it, As a Manchester United manager, you just have to embrace it, and try to find a way to handle it. And I've criticized Ole a lot, but in terms of handling it, maybe it's more because he's, a puppet, I guess, for the Glazers. But in terms of handling it, it doesn't really faze him a lot, He seems to understand it. He seems to understand it. Even though he had done a lot wrong, and I won't call him out for it, he seems to understand it. And I guess, maybe being under Sir Alex for so long, and being a United fan / former player, he gets it, So, yeah. But here's the thing on it, the media will always, not even really, to be honest. I guess a certain section of the media will always put pressure on you. Some of them will come to the press conference and basically just laugh with you, not ask any questions, because they're all mates, you're on the payroll. But anyway, so the media will always be on his back. But as fans, how does he expect us to move on from it? He says we moved on from it, good, because that's he has to move forward as the manager and the players to move forward. But us as fans, how does he expect us to move on from it? We took five goals to our biggest rival. Like, would he have accepted that as a player? When he was watching Mourinho, but he's saying, "Oh, when I'm manager, I will build a team around Pogba." Would he have accepted that? No, he wouldn't have. So it's a tough one. And for me personally, I don't know what other fans expect from him and want him to do to ease the situation. I would just like a sense of acceptance from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I kind of feel like he doesn't really accept the situation, Manchester United. He doesn't. And ignoring the situation leads to the problems continuing, not solving the problems, because we have problems. We lost 5-0 to Liverpool. Yes, he did say it's a dark moment, yada, 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 but I haven't really heard from him. I'm not convinced about him saying, we took 5, and it's bad. I haven't really felt from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And in general, he doesn't accept that we have a problem in the CDM. He just doesn't accept things at this club. His favoritism, issues at this club, Donny van de Beek not playing. He acts like it's not happening. Like, what? Like, what is going on with Donny van de Beek? And I haven't gotten a clear answer. I get the whole rotation, but Ole, you can't say rotation and then play in 5 minutes. What? That's ridiculous. So I kind of feel like he hides away from these problems. And for me, acceptance, it won't fix the issues, but it will make it so much better if you accept what's going on. And yeah, I would love that as a fan, just transparency. I also want transparency with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and there's not enough, So yeah, it is what it is. The next question was about Cristiano Ronaldo and his influence in the dressing room. Like they were asking how much influence Cristiano has, and could it be a negative? Apparently there's been talks about it being a negative as well, not just a positive. And Ole would say he's one of the best players that have ever walked on this planet. His impact on and off the pitch is absolutely immense. The way he conducts himself, how people can say that's negative, I can't see that one. He scores goals, he works hard for his team, and he's a top pro. And yeah, he saves his ass every week, It's the only reason you're in a job, Ole. So of course he'd say this. But I really don't know where this question is coming from. But if it's coming from the point of view that there's been stories about how Ronaldo's not running the dressing room, now Ole, I get it, you know. Is it maybe it's not negative? Maybe that's a better way to put it. Because once again, Ronaldo running the dressing room now is why Ole's still in the job, you know. But it can be a negative in the sense that it could undermine Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It could undermine his authority, you know. And is that a good thing? I don't think that's ever a good thing, being undermined by any player, even if it is Cristiano Ronaldo. So it's an interesting one, you know. But besides from that point of view, I don't get how Cristiano Ronaldo can be a negative, you know. I hear people saying he doesn't press. Screw pressing. I'm sorry. If it's Cristiano Ronaldo not pressing, then I excuse it. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe we should listen to the manager and maybe you should implement the tactics to the T. But he's freaking Cristiano Ronaldo, you know. And he's warranted it before coming to Manchester United and what he's done so far. Once again, saving all his job basically till now. So yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo has been a blessing. And you know, if there's any positive so far this season, for us Manchester United fans, it has been a privilege watching Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, I was sitting on the couch the other day and just thinking to myself, you know, negatives aside, he's back at Old Trafford. We get to watch this magic every week, you know, scoring 2 important goals in the Champions League, you know. That's the stuff of dreams. These are things that we thought would never happen again. He's back. So, you know, even in these negative times, if there's any positive we can look at Manchester United fans, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. What a player he is. And in no way is he a negative, especially for Ole. Yes, as I said, maybe the authority, yada, 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 but he's saving Ole's ass. Ole is definitely out of a job if not for Cristiano Ronaldo. So, yeah, that's that. They would go on and ask him about Victor Lindelof, you know, and if he'll be fit for the next game. Ole would say he's a doubt, but hopefully he can come back tomorrow and say he is ready. I would expect him to be ready, put it that way, but I can't promise you. Translation, I am going to rush him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer translation, I am going to rush him. You know, like he might play. We know he might play means he's going to play because Ole rushes players. And look, you can't say, are you good to play? And the player says yes, and you just take his word for it. Because players, most of them will always say that, you know, unless it's those who really want to take care of themselves. You know, we've had Cavani doing this in the past. But most players want to play. One, because they don't want to lose their place in the team, and they just love the game, you know. So they will always do that. It's the manager's job to say, no, you're not ready, so you're not going to play. But, you know, when a manager's playing for his job and is a bit incompetent, not a bit, very incompetent, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he'll play. So I'm fully expecting Victor Lindelof to play tomorrow. It's just how it is. They would go on and ask him about Varane, and I won't read the whole thing, I'll just paraphrase. He'll say, yeah, he's out for basically a month, and he's been very influential, which is great, you know. And then in that, you get asked about Eric. Oh no, you wouldn't get asked about Eric Bailly. He'd mentioned Eric Bailly, saying Eric came in last time and was excellent. That's why we have a big squad and cope with absentees. Let's just take a moment and read that again. That's why we have a big squad and cope with absentees. Ole is the biggest hypocrite I've ever seen in my life. He's the biggest hypocrite I've seen in my life. Because why is Retha Varane injured? Because you rushed him. So you can't now talk about big squad and coping with absentees. You're a hypocrite, Ole. You know, your favorites, and you don't rotate your squad, you know. I defended this man. I said, oh, he'll retain Lingard, and Lingard must stay at the club. I regret saying that, because Lingard doesn't play now, you know. And I probably should have seen it coming. Maybe I was naive in that sense. But Ole doesn't retain his squad, so he must keep quiet about rotation and absentees. He must shut up about that, honestly. And now Varane is injured because of Ole. Because of Ole. Why did he rush him, you know? And Eric Bailly, is excellent rotation. He probably won't even play him. Maybe now because we play the 5, sure, maybe. But usually he wouldn't even dare. He'd rather rush Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof than play Eric Bailly. So he's talking rubbish. And hopefully Eric Bailly does play, because it'll help our chance against Man City, because he's a brilliant defender. He was amazing against, what teams did you play? He was amazing against Atalanta. And yes, he's been hot and cold, but you know, Eric Bailly is a talented player. And I guess as much as the injuries suck, we need to try and play him as much as we can. But Ole's a hypocrite. Ole is the biggest hypocrite because he never rotates his squad. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, the next question was a bit of a deezy question. But expected. They asked about the team bonding and the lunch that the players had. Sure, I guess, it's important ahead of the game. United players, they're all box office, and when they're out, we want to talk about them. But geez, my life. I mean, what a waste of a question, in my opinion, Ask him about his tactics, Ask him what he's planning, ask him about his future, grill him, I wouldn't ask this question, but I guess it's relevant news, especially when Cristiano Ronaldo is there. But he talk about how the players are close, they always bond, and how apparently they might be sick of Mike's food because he says the canteen is good, but they might be sick of Mike's food. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, something the things he says. He's an old man. I'm not gonna say he sounds like an old man. He's an old man, and he has all these dad jokes. So yeah, apparently they might be sick of Mike's food, so maybe that's why they went out. But yeah, not really giving us anything. A waste of a question in a press conference that had little questions, to be honest. Yes, I know that the rest of the press conference will come out later, so maybe there'll be better questions then. But I would never ask this question. But I guess it's great the players are close. I've always felt like that to the United dressing room. As much as other people have said maybe there's a lot of egos there, I've never really seen it like that. As much as the big name players there, I've always felt like there's a bit of a family vibe there. But at the same time, maybe that is down to Ole. We don't praise Ole for much, but in terms of bringing people together, I mean, it's dismal right now, but they're still on his side. So I guess in terms of managing them and bringing them together, managing in other senses, he's pretty shite. But managing in that sense, I guess he's pretty good. So yeah, but easy question. Easy question. He would get asked next about what the derby means, What does the Manchester derby mean? And Ali would say, it's a special one. The last time we had Manchester derby with fans in the stadium, the atmosphere was electric. Everyone will still remember that one more than the dark times we've had. When Scott McTominay scored that goal in extra time, it was a special moment. It's a once-off game. We have to start on the front foot, be ready, because it depends on who gets on the front foot. And again, right things. It is a special game. It was an amazing atmosphere when Scott McTominay scored. And he speaks about people remembering the good times, when the dark times. Yeah, it sounds like he's kind of trying to say that the Liverpool game doesn't matter. I don't want to excuse that because it does. And Ole, once again, must accept the situation. But he is right. Us as fans, we will especially support the club. Rival fans, of course, were like, maybe you lost 5-0 to Liverpool. Even if we win the league, they'll be like, but you still lost 5-0 to Liverpool, But us as fans, we remember the good times more often, And it was an amazing time. And we do hope that, as much as some of us want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out, the fact that he's such a good record against Pep Guardiola, we do hope that we can win because it's bragging rights at the end of the day, I have a cousin who's a massive Manchester City fan, and he will have me if they beat us, He's been quiet lately. He's been very quiet because they've also been a bit sus, But you don't want to lose this, it's bragging rights. Not as much as Liverpool, but it is bragging rights. So it'll be interesting. And then he talks about starting on the front foot. And once again, he's right. But, we need to talk about the substance to that, How do we start on the front foot, Ole? Because every time we start on the front foot, or at least in my opinion, 80% of the time, it's just vibes, just energy, running around. But tactically, we're still quite inept, Like, we start on the front foot, we move it quickly, but we don't move it effectively. We can't dominate the ball. We don't defend effectively. We have holes in the midfield. So, Ole, you need to fix those things so we can start on the front foot more consistently. The players don't just start on the front foot because they don't feel like starting on the front foot. It's a tactical thing. You can't expect them to be up for it. As much as it's a derby this time, they probably will be up for it. But you can't expect them to be up for it every single game. So you need to aid them in improving your tactics. We need to work on how we move the ball. We need to work on our midfield. We need to drop McFred. Those little things will help us start better. If Donny is playing in the midfield, Donny won't lose the ball willy-nilly in the deep areas of the pitch. Thus, the ball will be moved more effectively. Thus, it is a part that will help us start on the front foot better. It's logic, But you've been stubborn and playing the same team over and over and over again, even after we take five to Liverpool, is one of the main reasons why, or the main reason why you're not good enough, mate. You're not good enough, and you have to leave. You need to change things when not working, especially after 3 years. You said it yourself, be it 3 years, and you keep starting the same players who don't do it and are surprised why we don't start on the front foot. So it's down to you as well, mate. It's down to you as well. But yeah, that'll be it really. That was a pretty dull press conference, you know. But you know, it's a big game tomorrow. Manchester City, the noisy neighbours, we always call them that, you know, they'll always be inferior. As much as they try very hard to be like us, you know, they will never be us. And why do you think we keep beating you? You know, why do you think we keep beating you? Not even under Ole. You know, we smacked you at Etihad last season after you were like, oh, the best team ever seen, you know, and Luke Shaw and then went there and showed you know, Pogba a few years ago, you know. So as much of a problem, yes, we probably need to win more titles. Not probably, we do need to win more titles, and you have that over us. But you'll never be Manchester United, gents. You'll never be us. You know, there's just something you can't imitate that with oil money, you know. So yeah, you know, no matter what I think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, tomorrow's a big game because it is against the enemy and we have to win. But yeah, that's been the press conference. Hope you enjoyed my reaction. And yeah, please like and subscribe if you like the content, and I'll check you next time.